There's a kind of haunting happening in our homes today. It's quiet, there are no spirits, no ghosts, but there are people who aren't quite there. It's the story of the man who walks through the door but never really arrives. So in this explainer, we're going to dig into why he disappears and maybe more importantly, how he finds his way back.
We've all seen this, right? It's a picture so many of us recognize. He's there, physically, sitting on the sofa. Maybe he's scrolling on his phone, maybe he's just staring into space, but his eyes are a million miles away. His presence is just a shadow. He's become the ghost at his own dinner table. And listen, this isn't about a lack of love. It's about being completely and totally checked out.
So what's really going on here? Why would a man who loves his family retreat behind this invisible wall? That's the big question we're going to unpack. And believe me, the answer is a lot deeper than just he's tired or he's stressed.
Okay, let's start by looking at what's happening inside his head. This is really important. It's not a conscious choice to be distant. It's actually a deep-seated psychological reaction to being just completely overwhelmed.
A lot of us see this behavior and we think it's a flaw, right? But psychologically, it's a survival tactic. It's called dissociation. Think of it like a circuit breaker in the brain. When the emotional input, the stress from work, the financial worries, the constant expectations becomes too much to handle, the brain just flips a switch. It pulls consciousness away from the here and now as a way to protect itself. It's a defense mechanism, not some kind of personal defect.
Let's think about this in terms of, say, emotional currency. All day long at work, he's got to be the solution finder, the leader, the competitor. That takes a certain kind of energy, a kind of armor. But the moment he walks in the door at home, his family needs something totally different. They need a partner, a father. They need his emotional presence. The problem is, by the end of the day, his emotional bank account is completely overdrawn. There is literally nothing left in the tank to make that switch.
And so he retreats. He pulls out the phone, or he just sinks into silence. Why? Because that screen, that quiet, it's the only place in his entire world where nobody is asking him for anything. For just a little while, it's a sanctuary from the relentless demands on his energy and his attention.
So that's what's happening on the inside. But of course, this doesn't happen in a vacuum. We've got to look at the external forces, because modern life has basically created the perfect storm for this kind of emotional vanishing act. In the past, the commute home from work actually served a really crucial purpose. It was like a decompression chamber. It was that buffer of time and space to shift gears, to go from warrior mode back to nurturer mode. But today, that gap is gone. The office is in his pocket, buzzing 24/7 with emails and notifications. The stress of the boardroom is still vibrating through his entire nervous system as he's sitting down for dinner. There's no time to decompress. And this leads to this brutal, vicious cycle. We can call it the provider's paradox. It goes like this. He works incredibly hard for his family, but the very work he does to provide is what steals him from his family. That exhaustion leads to him being absent, which of course leads to guilt. And how does he try to fix that guilt? By working even harder to provide more, which just fuels the entire cycle all over again. And eventually he starts to feel like his only real value to the family is his utility. He's not a husband, not a father, he's a provider, a walking wallet. And once a man internalizes that idea, that his worth is tied to what he brings in, not who he is, he might just stop trying to connect emotionally at all. What's the point?
Now, this emotional absence, it has a huge cost. And it's not just the family that feels it. So often, the ghost at the table is actually the loneliest person in the room.
Over time, this whole dynamic can turn a vibrant marriage into just a functional partnership. The couple becomes co-managers of the household. They talk about logistics, the bills, the kids' schedules, who's taking out the trash. But they stop talking about them. The connection just withers away in the silence.
And for the man himself, this creates what you could call a profound invisible loneliness. And it's a uniquely painful kind of lonely, right? To be physically surrounded by the people you love more than anything in the world, but to feel completely unable to bridge that gap and really truly connect with them.
And the ripple effects are just immense. His partner feels the sting of that silence day in and day out, and that often curdles into resentment. And his kids? Well, they grow up with a dad who was technically always there, but was he ever really reachable? He was a figure they orbited, but never got the chance to truly know.
Now I know, after hearing all that, it can feel pretty bleak, but it's not. The final part of this story is about the journey back.
It's about how to bring the man home, not just through the front door, but all the way back into the heart of his family.
Here is the most important thing to get. Being present isn't some personality trait you either have or you don't. It is a skill. And just like any skill that's gotten a little rusty from lack of use, it can be reclaimed, it can be retrained, it can be relearned. There is absolutely a path back.
So often, a man thinks what his family needs is this perfect, successful provider. But what they truly, deeply wish for is so much simpler. They would rather have a struggling, imperfect man who is present than a successful shadow who is completely absent.
And this is really the heart of it all. The family doesn't just need the things he provides. They need him. They need the person, his jokes, his bad advice, his attention, his heart. His value isn't found in his utility, it's found in his identity.
You know, it all starts with one simple, courageous act: putting the weight of the world down just for a moment, looking up from the screen, stepping out from behind that wall, and just being there. So, the final question is a simple one. Are you ready to come home?